In the United Arab Emirates, men wear a long single robe called a disdasha or kandura. While on assignment in Dubai recently, I picked this out as an introduction to our special On the Record mission to Dubai. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Jerome Sawyer. Well, it was one of the most talked about events in a while. A contingent of Bahamian artists, Junkanoo performers, and Ministry of Tourism employees led by an official prime ministerial delegation helped to make Dubai the most talked about destination for Bahamians. January 17th, Bahamas National Day at the World Expo in Dubai was the culmination of a 5-year journey to get the Bahamas recognized at one of the most important meetings ever. Tonight, we take you on a mission to Dubai, courtesy of On the Record. World Expo 2020, known as the Olympics of Innovation and Technology. Historically, they've been around since the early 19th century, known to many older generations as the World's Fair.
People don't recognize things like the Eiffel Tower is a symbol of one of the world exhibitions. Even someone said even ketchup as a product actually came out of a World Expo. So that's why creativity, innovation, ideas get displayed and showcased at exhibitions.
Originally scheduled for 2020, it had been postponed in the face of a global pandemic. 192 countries in all. It's a quantum leap into a world of possibilities. Each country a journey into what ifs.
And for the Bahamas to be a part of it, I think is a great opportunity for us to be on the world stage amongst the 192 countries that are here, to really be a part of this phenomenal experience that is taking place, and to connect with as many countries as possible, and to share ideas and to talk about what we would like to see as happening as far as the future of the country, what industries, what innovations we would like to participate in or partner with other countries who may have a similar challenge that we may have.
Welcome to Bahamas House, a 2-story, interactive, multi-purposed exhibit hall. It's a first of a kind on such a large scale for the Bahamas at a World Expo. There's no missing it either. These gigantic Junkanoo images covering the house have made it a curiosity spot for thousands.
That was done intentionally, because we figured that is one of the cultural expressions that clearly represent the people. And Dubai really believe in promoting the people who are, tell the story about who you are as a people.
The Bahamas was one of the first countries to sign on to this initiative, and that's why they love us so. It's a place where people come to do business. We are presently sitting in what we coin our Embassy for Business, which is the upper floor of our pavilion. And here we hope, and in other areas, to be able to meet with business people who are looking to start projects in the Bahamas.
This is an opportunity that doesn't come quite often. As we all know that expos every 5 years they happen, and we haven't participated in the last maybe 12, 15 years, we haven't participated in any international expo. So what's happening here now is it's like you're sending a salesman to a country, and then from there he goes to another country and then another country. The good thing about this is we have 182, 190 countries in one place. So rather than sending a salesman and paying for tickets and airlines, all that, and incurring all the costs, here it is. We have everybody here. We could mingle, we could talk, we could discuss business, as well as make sure that we socialize and get the business card and make contacts and invite them over to the Bahamas to come and do business actually with our entrepreneurs. We are marketing the country, and this is to be one of the best events ever that will happen to the Bahamas, I could tell you, overseas.
The lower level is a historical and cultural demonstration of things Bahamian.
The fascination and excitement for them is like the waters, the pristine waters, and they love the islands, especially when we tell them about our family islands. They love the islands, and we tell them about the uniqueness of the islands, and each island has its own special thing about it. They want to go, they're ready to go, so they love our family islands.
From 2016, a team of volunteers has been planning and preparing for this. The World Expo happens every 5 years. Delayed a year by the pandemic, it's thought to be the Olympics of creativity and innovation. A group of UB students selected a quadrant known as sustainability as the site for the pavilion. Very fitting given the challenges of Hurricane Dorian and COVID-19. It's this kind of global awareness that is making the Bahamas a must-see exhibit.
There are 3 sub-themes: sustainability, mobility, and opportunity. And the students at the University of the Bahamas selected sustainability. We didn't know at the time that it would be so apt for the Bahamas. So it was prior to Hurricane Dorian, the worst hurricane ever. And we experienced that in the Bahamas. And also followed by the pandemic. So there were 2 strikes against our economy. And we felt that this was sustainability was the area that we needed to promote. So a lot of people are thinking, well, where's the sun, sand, and sea, where's the Junkanoo, etc. But if we're presenting those elements, we're presenting them from a sustainability angle. And so you'd look at coastal erosion. You'd look at Junkanoo as a pastime to engage the youth. You'd look at it from those sorts of angles, not the creative elements that you see on Bay Street, etc. It's intended to look at ways in which we can make travel between the islands a lot easier, logistics in terms of getting products from the different islands into the main centers, especially fresh produce, those sorts of things. People are very interested in those types of investments, the logistics of moving cargo and goods and services.
Already hundreds of thousands have passed through here. Within the first 6 weeks of opening, 250,000 people alone passed through the pavilion. Corporate sponsorship from entities like Alive, Cable Bahamas, Garnet Bank and FTX helped organizers raise the $500,000 needed to put this on, along with $1 million government-approved spend by the Ministry of Tourism.
So Bahamas has really never, I think, participated in an expo to this extent. Now I know the country has participated, but in a lesser scale. But as you can see, this is a building built for the Bahamas. And usually people would have a little booth, or they'll be in some large conference center and they'll have a table off to one side. But to have a presence to the extent to which we have, to have a 2-story building, which you're broadcasting from the 2nd floor of the building, that was built for the use of the Bahamas. You know, some of the corporate sponsors, and I must thank people like Garnet Bank, FTX, and you know, University of the Bahamas, of course, Alive and Cable, because you guys were one of the first ones to see the wisdom in having a presence and supporting as best as you could this to actually become to become alive, because, no pun intended, but there's a lot of truth to that, because if we didn't show up, can you imagine if we weren't here?
The pavilion, a multi-million-dollar rent-free gift to the Bahamas from the UAE government, came in part to the efforts of the organizing committee and under the watchful eyes of the Ministry of Tourism staff.
We're like ambassadors, we're here to make sure the Bahamas shine, make sure the Bahamas is projected in the right light. We have a lot of visitors that come through the pavilion. They ask a lot of questions. Some of them didn't even know about the Bahamas. So we're here to almost like to sell the Bahamas and let them know, where the Bahamas is, and the Bahamas is open and we're ready for business.
You're watching On the Record. We're going to have more right after this. So the project really pays itself back.
Correct.
They set up
At the conference, the school.
As a journalist, I always have to focus on the facts, and sometimes that means going to investigate for myself. On the Record, Thursdays at 8 p.m. right here on RTV. On a warm Monday morning, my team and I set out to capture Bahamas National Day at the World Expo in Dubai. The 9-hour time difference meant most of you were probably still asleep. But on the other side of the world, Bahamians brought a never-before-seen display to the Middle East that they won't soon forget. Bahamas National Day, a day set aside to showcase the Bahamas in this Innovation Olympics in Dubai. For nearly half an hour, it was undeniable that this was the highlight of the expo. A Junkanoo band, flanked by Bahamians, rushed into the hearts of spectators of all nationalities and ethnicities. Simultaneously, 30-plus members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force Band displayed how they earned the title world-renowned. The UAE's Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence acknowledged the strong and active presence of the Bahamas at the Expo, making special mention of the design of the pavilion by students of the University of the Bahamas and named Bahamas Strong.
The focus of the exhibition centers around showcasing the Bahamas sustainability practices which allow resilience in the face of climate change, as well as the development of a blue economy and efforts to rebuild in the aftermath of the Hurricane Dorian.
Prime Minister Davis, while greeted with a crowd of enthusiastic Bahamian supporters, reminds the audience why cultural expression levels the playing field among nations.
For small countries such as the Bahamas, it is sometimes difficult for our voices to be heard on the world stage. But we know that when we sing and dance and fully express our creative cultural identity, we make a much bigger splash in the global imagination.
My island's in the sun, 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 sun. Let's go, Bahamas! Hey, give it up now. And I say, whoa, my island's in the sun. Carnival time is your first when we come to party. This Junkanoo, they got me wet. Say, whoa, my island's in the sun.
I think it's a great kind of narrative to express, because it is rather strange for me as a Bahamian to come to a country and to discover many people don't even know where your country is, or have never heard about your country. So that narrative of who is the Bahamas, who are we, and what do we have to offer, now gives us an opportunity to show the world who are we and what can we offer the world.
The contingent from the Bahamas included performers, managers, and technicians, all descending on Dubai for this one-of-a-kind cultural show. All of these folks and their equipment moving halfway across the world.
One of the biggest challenges we've had was clearances, clearances on this side. You know, unfortunately, we don't do things in a very timely manner. And so we missed some deadlines. Nevertheless, it caused for a few of us to have to come in early and make sure that everything was pinned down. Myself, along with Glenn Clark, who is our technical director, and J.D. Stewart, who's the musical director. We came in a few days early just to make sure that everything was in place. So when the balance of the crew arrived on a few days ago, that everything was placed, everything was confirmed, all the systems will go, all the production and material that we needed, everything was in place. And we finally got that done. And so by the time they got in here, we were ready for show. We were just waiting for showtime.
The performers, among the best in the business, produced a star-studded showcase.
They're experiencing a variety of Bahamian art forms. We've got the music, we've got the dance, we've got the Junkanoo. Of course, we've got the world-famous Royal Bahamas Police Force Band, and we have the young and the talented Bahamas All-Stars Marching Band here with us. We've got Samantha Pratt and her dance troupe. We've got perhaps one of the best bands in the country, a high-level band. We've got 5 of the top Bahamian recording and performing artists. We've got Iris Story here with us. We've got Funky D here with us, who's perhaps the greatest entertainer in the Bahamian at present in terms of his presentation. We've got Lady E here with us. We've got the young upstart Lordy here with us with his hit song Mahalia. And then we've got, who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. And then of course we've got perhaps the biggest name in Bahamian entertainment today, Dylan D. Mark McKenzie. So we've got a cross-section of talents. And then we also have Clint and Shabak. They're here. They just finished performing, gave a very spirited performance a short while ago. As a matter of fact, the stage manager for that area where they performed said, from this festival open, they're the 5th top act that has been here so far, and that she don't expect that anybody will top what they did. So that's the kind of energy, that's the kind of performances that we've brought to this event.
When you represent your country, whether it's in sports, whether it's in music, whether it's in whatever, man, representing your country gives you a feeling that you just can't explain. And it's been so nice, man. It's like everything I imagined, everything I saw in the pictures and video, it's been fantastic. I feel so privileged to be a part of this great contingent. You know what I mean? Because you know where I started out. I started out, to be here right now with the Greeks. Feels amazing, man. Feels amazing. Words can't express it, you know. Listen, this is absolutely amazing. The opportunity to come here to represent my country among over 170 other countries represented here at the Expo. I don't think folks really get the magnitude of what this Expo is all about. I started to tour it. I couldn't even get to the end of it because it's just so long. It's about 4 miles. It's stretched. And this is over 170 countries. So for our Bahamas to be represented here and to put their best foot forward over these 2 days and to make sure that we are well represented, I'm sure the guests and the persons that were out there tonight felt the energy and they want to come back, and they enjoyed the police band, the Junkanoo, they enjoyed Shabak yesterday and all the other groups that performed. So it was a great representation.
It felt really good, you know, exposing them to our sound, our culture, our peas and rice and grits and conch salad, you know, just to see the reaction on their faces, to hearing this new type of music, to hear the rake, the saw, the way that we speak our lingo. It was very colorful, and I was glad to look on their faces and see how they interpreted it, and it went across very well.
As expected, though, the Junkanoo was the most talked about event, especially among the Bahamians who live here. And for this group who rushed in the Bahamas National Junkanoo Parade, it was extra special.
It was a sense of national pride, being all the way in the Middle East, representing my country here, bringing our culture and our beauty to the Middle East. For most of the people here experiencing this is the first time they've experienced it.
And especially not being in Jungle for being in Dubai now for 2.5 years, and finally participating in Jungle again, that was amazing, and seeing everybody, happy and having a good time and just enjoying themselves. It was a wonderful experience.
So even though they was lost, man, the people came running from the north, east, and the west. What that's Jungle, man.
And even from the sidelines, it was just as exhilarating to watch it.
It felt like I was home, actually. I really missed actually experiencing Junkanoo. So I've been here 3 years, so I missed it.
All 4 of these Bahamians are pilots. These guys all fly with Emirates, one of the largest and most luxurious airlines in the world. Felton Benaby has 4 years on the job in Dubai.
Dubai is first world, it's efficient, the people are friendly, it's warm, it's welcoming.
Kimir Lam followed a cousin who was already flying here.
Very professional airline. They take very, very, very good care of you. I can't even explain, provide us with living accommodation. You can pick up the 2 from work. Just amazing, man. I can't, just beyond.
For Tanico Darling, it's a chance to represent country every day.
Being one of only 5 pilots here at Emirates, every time you go to work, you represent your country. So getting to see the world, being responsible for these aircrafts and all these people's lives, and being from a small nation and knowing that every time I step out and represent my country, I have a big responsibility on my shoulders. So it's a sense of pride.
Laurie Johnson has the distinction of being the first female Bahamian with Fly Dubai Airlines, a role, she says, that's treated with great respect.
I'm happy to set the example and let other Bahamians know that they can do it as well. It's very empowering. It's not different. They treat me the same. It's no differences or anything like that.
This is Mission to Dubai. On the record, we are back right after this. So the project really pays itself back.
Correct.
They set up
at the conference. The school.
As a journalist, I always have to focus on the facts, and sometimes that means going to investigate for myself. On the record, Thursdays at 8 p.m. right here on RTV. This is On the Record, our special presentation of Mission to Dubai. I'm Jerome Sawyer. Well, to be honest, this was no trip hailed by all well-wishers. In fact, a firestorm of criticism exploded back home as mainstream and social media spewed days of controversial feedback. On the ground in Dubai, it was all smiles and focused on getting the job done, but the media reports back home swirled with questions about costs and contingent size. We began asking for responses.
I guess Ministry of Tourism felt that it was important to really showcase the country, and therefore the investment of the amount of people that are coming is a way of showing the world that the Bahamas is deep in culture and deep in cultural expression.
Government confirmed $1 million price tag. The organizing group raised another $500,000 through corporate sponsorship with a donation of a rent-free building from the UAE government, which houses the pavilion. Yet, a quick glance at some of the other exhibits at this year's World Expo, and the Bahamas does not begin to compare in size and extravagance to the other nations. Prime Minister Philip Davis was candid when asked to respond to the critics.
We are introducing ourselves to the world. We're getting the world to know the best of us. And how best to do that? By having Bahamians here. And not all Bahamians here were sponsored by the government. Many Bahamians came here on their own. And many Bahamians are here just enjoying it because they want to promote the Bahamas as a patriot. And we did, in fact, cut the delegation down. But that's not the issue here. The issue here is that here's a venue, Expo 2020, where the Bahamians can introduce themselves to the world so that the world could get to know the best of us. In this new world, this new world order, no country will be able to survive on its own. We are all so interconnected. The Middle East, the United Arab Emirates, is a region that is longing to become more involved in the Caribbean and Latin America.
Yet the critics did not let up.
You cannot question the fact that we have brought the finest Bahamian entertainers existing today. Dylan McKenzie is here, as I said, okay? Funky D, long-standing, is here. Lady E, what do you want? Because I'm not here, we don't, how did they term it? We don't have the best of the best here. Who's better than the Royal Bahamas Police Force Band? Huh? Who is better than the young upstart Bahamas All-Stars Marching Band? Huh? Who is better than higher level band who play practically for every major function in the Bahamas, in New Providence and around the islands of the Bahamas at regattas and homecomings? Who better?
But it was the performance by this crew, Dynamite Daisy and the Miss Daisy character, that seemed to draw the largest part of the criticism.
Nice. I want you to go and put them in some water for me in the kitchen. Yeah. Even though they are official, they still be okay. See him? He's my brother. You don't have.
Yet the character and crew carried on unfazed.
I'm just flabbergasted. Because why? Because this opportunity to come to the world and represent what a Bahamian should not look like, Jerome. But it was wonderful. We had a good time. You know, some persons looked at us like this, others looked like this, some opened their mouth, and some closed their teeth. It was wonderful. It was important, Jerome, because opportunities come to us as Bahamians, and we have to embrace them when they come. And not only that, our job is to bring a message. And that's what we did with the play. It's a message of reconciliation. You could say that, reconciliation. That means coming together. See, look here, Jerome. We just fight like cat and dog. We just do that in the Bahamas. But there comes a time, talking sense, when you have to realize, put down the weapons and pick up the love, man.
We modified the play to fit the culture that would be acceptable, but still keeping it authentically Bahamian, and that's what's shown through. And of course, Daisy's just uniquely talented and represented us well, and the people were very, very receptive to the message. The play that we decided to bring was Daisy Family Dinner, and even though people are from different parts of the world, we all have different characters that we can see in this family, and the fact that family unity overcomes whatever adversity. So people that were watching us from India stayed behind to shake hands and to greet us and to meet the cast and to meet and take pictures with us, because they have someone in their family that they can identify with, that they saw on the stage.
And based on the reactions afterward, the character and message were all well received. While the naysayers hurled the criticisms back and forth, the show carried on. This showcase wasn't just about featuring a beautiful, culturally rich Bahamas. The end game is investments.
We want them to look at what the investment opportunities are in the Bahamas, and to be able to talk to people about those investment opportunities. We've had a number of engagements here in the pavilion with various people that have looked at our B2B profile and felt that it was something that they would like to explore. And so we've had a number of conversations, and those we're following up on.
The Bahamas offers strategic location in the Caribbean, as well as its closeness to the United States offers it a very, very strong location. That's number one. Number two, we speak the English language, which is the international language spoken all over the world. And number three, we are highly educated people, so we understand business. So what the UAE is looking for is a strategic partner whereby they can assist in the agriculture, which we really need badly. We have a lot of, almost 300,000 acres of tillable land that is not really used yet. That's in the Bahamas, between Andros, Eleuthera, and other islands. Then we look at technology, and now we understand that AI is a big thing worldwide, and that's going to be taken by the future, in the near future, actually.
As the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, I came to signify our seriousness in strengthening our relationship, our seriousness in being able to identify initiatives that could strengthen our relationship, and we could benefit each other from wherever we are in respect to any of our advancement in any area of human endeavors.
At the height of the Bahamas National Day celebrations, a memorandum of understanding is signed with the UAE for technical assistance training.
We talk about digitization. We talk about digitization, but yet where are we with those things? Why? Because we do lack some capacity in our country, and where we do have capacity, it needs strengthening. Hence the memorandum of understanding that we're signing. It lays the foundation to at least start the discussion to a pathway to bringing mutual benefits to each country in the areas I've spoken about.
For the next 3 months, this pavilion at World Expo will serve as a gateway to the Bahamas in so many ways.
I'm hopeful, and it's starting to show itself with the 8 staff members who actually are working full-time from Ministry of Tourism. They're beginning to see, because they would have actually be here for at least 3 months, starting in December, at least until the end of the expo in March. So they'll have 3-4 months of exposure, and they've already started to recognize the richness of the culture.
Every day, hundreds continue to visit, leading to possible vacation stays or long-term investments. The pavilion, named Bahamas Strong, is strategically located in the sustainability quadrant. Opened back in October, it will remain a central point of contact for people interested in doing business with us.
So for Bahamians, I would say this is a great opportunity for them to come over here, not just to learn about the culture, but to mingle and try to meet with businessmen and women who live here, who will provide opportunities like nobody's else. Because what happened here is very diversified. You have about 80 nationalities. So you are really mingling and discussing business with probably 80 nationalities.
Ambassador Tony Jordi is a non-resident ambassador to the UAE and the state of Qatar. He was the driving force behind the Bahamas' presence here in so many ways. His goal is to have a diplomatic presence here.
If you look at the UAE, you'll find about every embassy is over here. Every single worldwide embassy is found right here in Abu Dhabi. So why we cannot, as a nation, and we have some Caribbean nations have embassies here, or if not embassies, consulates. Why we as a nation, we don't have an embassy or consulate yet in Dubai or Abu Dhabi?
Foreign Affairs estimates about 200 Bahamians are in the UAE, so the question of a diplomatic presence here is a very valid one.
We are minded to do so. Those things we're just picking up now, and we'll continue to see how we could forge a more meaningful relationship for the Bahamas, and that would include the establishment of a permanent mission in this region.
And even the Bahamians here could play a role.
There may be as much as 200 Bahamians living in this region. Many of them are pilots, some are in development, some in hospitality, and they're all doing very well. What we appreciate is that when we think about the economy of scales, what they're making here is probably 3 times as much as they could make at home. It's very difficult to attract persons to come home in the circumstance where they will be taking a shave on their livelihood. And like I say, they are tracked to ensure that they're happy. They are made, if they're not happy, they can say why, and their challenges are addressed to ensure that they're comfortable. And so the one way we could tap into diaspora here to lend some assistance back home is through what I call remote working. And if we could encourage them to lend their expertise through remote exchanges.
Some final thoughts when we return. So the project really pays itself back. They
Correct.
set up
At the conference, the school.
As a journalist, I always have to focus on the facts, and sometimes that means going to investigate for myself. On the Record, Thursdays at 8 p.m. right here on RTV. On every journey completed, it's always important to reflect on what was learned and the potential impact for the future. This trip represented so many firsts for us. The first time we participated at this level, and a first of any prime minister.
His trip will be a historic trip. As never ever we had a Bahamian leader visit the Middle East or anywhere, any part of the Middle East. So in my eyes, in my opinion, this bold movement of our prime minister is really a point of strength, is a point of boldness, and a bold of looking towards the future. If you stay with your neighbors, if your neighbors fall, you will fall. So you need other avenues, you need other markets to tap into. So the Prime Minister is coming here to do business. His leadership will lead him to have a lot of investors coming into the country and invest.
Being in the world stage, being a player in the world is a key component to our success in the future. Because connecting minds to create a future is an important statement. And if you're not there in the conversation, then, unfortunately, you're not going to be an active participant.
I think we can take a page or two out of Dubai's book in reference to tourism, because they're welcoming. They have, like I said earlier, they have so many different nationality, because I think in order for a country to grow, we need to have diversity. We need to, we just don't let any and everybody into our borders, but we need that diversity in order for the economy to grow and to strive, and that's what Dubai has done in reference to being open and making sure everybody can live and survive in a safe environment.
This conference is about sustainability. And the Bahamas, we need to find different ways to sustain ourselves. We need to have revenue come into our country. We know that we have a national debt. We all need to do our part to make sure that that national debt comes down, and culture is one of those ways. The orange economy needs to grow. So I'm just happy to be one of those persons that's an ambassador all the way here in Dubai to make sure that that happens.
Well, that's going to do it for this special mission to Dubai on the Record. Special thanks to Monte Bianco for my attire, also to the organizing team at World Expo in Dubai. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time right here on the Record.